Welcome to Blue Jeans. Please enter your meeting ID or audio code followed by the pound or hash sign. If you're a participant, press pound or hash now. If you're the moderator, please enter your passcode. You are now being placed in the meeting. Please wait for a participant to join the meeting.
You all are not waiting for me, right?
I'm available. I've been waiting.
Me too. Okay. I think it's just you and me so far.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Hi, this is Jahan.
I think we're all here. Good morning.
Good morning. I apologize. I'm a little late.
All right. Not a problem. So you all are having a little bit of problems. So even though we don't have a record to make sure that we're all on the same page, why don't we begin with you, Mr. Muathe? Why don't you just briefly state your objection to this journal entry?
Yeah, we had just a little bit of disagreements, and we just wanted you to clear some things up. The first issue was when the due date for the plaintiff's motion for summary judgment, which was filed on the June 30th, 2016. My contention was that I was under the impression you said that should be due 21 days after the close of the deadline for dispositive motions. On the alternative, since I had filed a motion pursuant to KSS 60256F pending the end of discovery, I'm waiting for those documents. I believe they were mailed yesterday. So on the alternative, I was under the impression the due date for the summary judgment should be 21 days after I received those documents, discovery documents. And then the other issue was I thought there was 90 days for the end of the deadline for the dispositive motion. So that was the other issue. I thought it was 90 days from the hearing on the 28th. And then I just wanted a clarification. My last point was on the current motion for summary judgment on my counterclaims. I just wanted to verify that the due date that I am calculating here based on the 3 days for mailing is on the 24th of September. Those are the three things.
Ms. Moore, your response?
Sure. I'm happy to. I know there was a record at the hearing, and if we need to go to the transcript for that, that might provide some evidence for Mr. Muathe. But my understanding from the court was that the plaintiff was to notify the court and Mr. Muathe if we intended to supplement our motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim, or if we intended to stand on the motion as filed, and that the response will be due 21 days after either the notification that we are standing on the motion as filed or 21 days after the supplemented motion for summary judgment. Plaintiff informed the court and Mr. Muathe that we do not intend to supplement the motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim and intend to stand on that motion. Based on the court's ruling at the hearing, Mr. Muathe's response would be due 21 days after that notification. If he wants to add 3 days for mailing or that's fine, but that motion has been pending for some time. Plaintiff did produce yesterday by email and by priority mail the documents that were ordered by the court to be produced. If Mr. Muathe wants to have 21 days from yesterday to respond to the motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim, I will agree to that. That's fine. As for the motion for summary judgment on the counterclaim, my understanding from the court was that it would be due 21 days from the date that we mailed or reserved Mr. Muathe with our motion for summary judgment on the counterclaim. If he wants to add 3 days to that, that's fine. I'm fine with that too. But what I'm not willing to agree to is to have his responses due 21 days from October. I can't remember the date he gave. I'm not willing to extend it to his responses to October. That wasn't was not my understanding of the court's ruling at our hearing.
Let me just kind of work backwards here with people. Ms. Moore, based on what you just said, including the addition of 3 days for mailing, your position in terms of what would your position be as to the exact response dates for both these motions?
Okay, so we mailed. I was an attempt to compromise. So this would be, I guess, the first motion, which is the motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim.
Right.
My understanding is that Mr. Muathe would like to have his response due 21 days from the date we served him with the documents that had been outstanding. In
Okay.
attempt to a compromise, I will agree to that. So we served him yesterday. So it would be 21 days from yesterday. And if he wants to add 3 days for mailing, that's fine. And do you want me to count it out? And I can do that right now.
No, I don't know. I just got to count it.
Okay. No, I'm just saying I haven't counted it, but it would be 21 days from yesterday plus 3 days for mailing. I'm fine with that. If Mr. Muathe wants to have that be the deadline for the motion for summary judgment on the original foreclosure claim. Mr. Muathe, is that what you were asking for?
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not. Thing is, as far as adding.
Calculation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying that was one of the objections I had. But if that's fine, if I can 21 days when I receive the physical copies of the outstanding discovery documents, then I can add, no problem with that. That was one of my issues, and maybe. So on both issues, I think on the deadlines, I think we are fine if I add 3 days for mailing. I had no objections on the counterclaim motion for summary judgment. I was just needing verification.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear on the motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim. Your response will be due 21 days from yesterday plus 3 days for mailing.
Correct.
Is that correct? So I can.
Correct.
And that, according to my calculations, which are, by the way, always suspect, would be that it would effectively make it due October the 9th. And the reason for that is, if my calculations are correct, 3 days from mailing drops us into the weekend, and it's a holiday.
Okay.
One of my favorites, by the way, it's the one where I dress up as a Spaniard and oppress indigenous people. But it is a legal holiday, and I think the post office is it's Columbus Day, I think. It's bolded in my date. It's done.
Are you talking about October 5th?
Well, I think it does it fall. What date? Let me get my.
I'm counting October 5th.
I just you do this. I have on my calendar. The numbers are pretty small, but I'm looking at, and I don't. My glasses are not right here. So.
I'm getting October 5th. Mr. Muathe, are you, if you...
I was a little suspect, but if you go from today being the 12th, so yesterday actually, being the 11th, so if you go 21 days, that puts us on October the 2nd, and 1, 2, 3 is the 5th. Say I would be October 5th. I had it the 6th. It's October the 5th. Because I was actually counting from today, not yesterday, as you were suggesting. Okay. Which would be October the 5th. Now, that's
would be the due date on the response for the motion for summary judgment on the foreclosure claim. Mr. Muathe, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. And then on the response to the motion for summary judgment counterclaim, where are we at on that exactly?
Yeah, I think that was 21 days from the 29th plus 3 mailing days. So that would bring it. My calculations was due the 20. Let me see here. The 24th, Monday, by my calculations.
I am. 1 second. I am counting. I'm going to count those days out.
Okay.
You were saying, what's your calculation? It would be due what day?
Monday the 24th of September.
And that sounds right to me, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So one more.
Now,
go ahead.
hold on just a moment.
Sure.
Back up. And don't anybody flip out, because I signed the journal entry on this accidentally just about 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago or something like that. I was signing a bunch of misdemeanor journal entries for Lynn County, and you knew how our screen appears. You just like lie down and click. And I accidentally signed the journal entry that we're contesting today. So I'll fix that problem when we get done.
Okay.
I was going to call the clerk's office and ask them if they could unfile it, but I think I'll just fix this and they kind of take it from here. But hold on a second. We're here. Then because here's what I'm gonna amend the order a little bit. If we have a due date of October the 5th, if we would add, I don't know, let's see, I'll add 15 days. Ms. Moore, if I just added 15 days from those actual dates for a deadline for any reply briefs, can you live with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So then, let's see, October 20th, I suppose, is a week. Of course, it's a Saturday. I'm going to make it the 19th. So on the underlying motion for summary judgment by the plaintiff on the foreclosure case itself, reply briefs would then be due on Friday the 19th of October.
Your Honor, I apologize. I'm getting Saturday, October 20th, 15 days, but which would take us to Monday, the 22nd, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Because actually, I should cut you short, went back to 14 just to try to get the date done. That's fine. So it would be October
22nd.
22nd, and then basically October the 9th, then on the other motion. And because this would be, I think it's more efficient to do this than have you all prepare for both anyway. Since this is moving faster than, this is how I'd hoped the other day this might move a little quicker, but I didn't want anybody under any deadlines that were too draconian. What I want to do is go ahead and schedule oral arguments on the motions for summary judgment sometime after October 22nd. Now, I will tell you up front that this is not going to be easy. I have a 2-week trial. There's like a 2% chance of it settling in that time period, so I'm going to be in trial, but I'd like to at least get this separate from the pretrial conference so that you're not having to work on both at the same time. And this is going to be subject to some confirmation with the court down there.
Could I interject a little bit? I was under the impression that the next hearing date we had settled on December the 6th.
We had, but that was the final pretrial conference.
Okay.
And what I'm saying, Mr. Muathe, is that I want to split, because at that time I was just having trouble calculating dates out that far, and there was a calendar in front of me, and was just trying to get everything at least squared away. I would prefer separate hearings. I would prefer not to do oral arguments on two motions for summary judgment at the same time doing a final pretrial conference. So I want to go ahead and get these, and the other thing is because the rulings of the summary judgment motions could affect what the issues are at the pretrial conference. So it's kind of hard for you all to prepare for a pretrial conference if I haven't ruled the motions for summary judgment. I just did that for convenience the other day. It's not actually a very wise way of approaching it. So what I'm doing is changing the schedule a little bit so that we go ahead and have oral arguments on motions for summary. And what I'm looking at is the week of November the 12th. Are there any days that week you all aren't available?
Would there be a deadline for dispositive motions before then?
Well, I'm struggling with what kind of dispositive motions are possible under the circumstances where you both.
I think I have I should be given an opportunity to file my own motion for summary judgment.
On what concept? What issue?
I think on the issues.
Yeah, what issue would you move for summary judgment on?
On, for example, the failure for serving using the affidavit for publication, which I haven't received. I don't think it.
Pardon me? Hold on, I didn't understand you. Can you say that again, please?
No, I was saying I would be moving for one of the issues would be whether service was proper.
I'm sorry, what was proper?
Service.
The service was proper?
Yeah.
Sorry, just a moment. Mr. Muathe, what kind of issue are you thinking about on the service of process?
I don't believe it was done as per the statutes. It would be one of the issues I'll be raising in my own motion. I'm still working on it.
You're going to need to articulate more than just the generic didn't comply with the statute. I don't know. How are you? the case has been going on since 2014, Eric. And so, I mean, you should be able to articulate by now to me how back in August 2014, the service wasn't correct. So what's the problem with it?
So the problem is that since they were unknown defendants, and I see a notation on the case docket about an affidavit of service. Now, when I looked locally at the papers at the time, there was never any advertisement for this pending motion at the time that was put in the local paper. So that's why I was requesting that whether there was ever any publication that was done for the public, given the fact that unknown defendants were named in the case.
And what kind of standing do you have to raise that on behalf of people other than yourself?
Well, because if the service was not proper, would be my argument. And like I said, it's something that I've been looking into. Then that would bring the question.
I want to go back and look at the statute. Maybe Ms. Moore can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but maybe I should just say before I. Maybe I should just look before I say anything. Taking that point. Maybe I'll realize that wrong computer. I'm not 100% positive about this, but I have a really vague recollection that there is a time limit on raising issues about service. Am I wrong about that, Ms. Moore?
Yes, I think you are correct, and that issue has never been resolved. I raised that from the very beginning.
How did raise what issue from the very beginning?
The issue of service.
Well, if there's a motion on file, then you don't need to file another motion for summary judgment.
I believe if I understand that
it's been resolved, it's either been resolved or it hasn't. I mean, so it's either pending or it's not. If you've already raised it, it's either pending and I need to resolve it, or it's been adjudicated by a different judge and I'm not going to reconsider it. Well, here's the thing. I don't know that that's appropriate. I mean, I believe that I thought there were some other issues that I know it's going to be raised in an answer. That's one of the things that has to be pled. In any event, you suggesting you were going to be fought. Did you tell me did you bring this up when we were in Pittsburgh the other day?
I thought during the hearing you had actually set a deadline of 60 days after the hearing for dispositive motions.
Well, my recollection of my intention was to put a deadline on any of getting these motions. Call a generic order about just dispositive motions in general. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not. Yep. Okay. Okay. Here. So, if there are additional motions for summary judgment, we've already got a dispositive motions that have to be filed on or before October 1st. That's cute.
October 1st?
So, that's in the order that I'm getting ready to approve because there wasn't any objection, as I understand, to that paragraph, I don't think.
Yes, there was. That's one of the issues that we were not sure about was the deadline.
And why? Okay. I thought we just worked all that out. So what's the issue about that?
The issue was the deadline for dispositive motions. I thought was 60 days And I think the counsel for plaintiff was saying it was earlier than that.
It was October 1st, was what the judge said at the hearing.
Yeah, I'm sure that because I thought I went back and plugged dates into all that to be sure for whatever it was. But for cases been pending since 2014, Mr. Muathe, you can tee that up by October 1st. So if you've got a motion there, so the deadline for any additional dispositive motions will be October 1st, and that way, with that deadline, we can go ahead and set oral arguments on motions, and I can take up all pending dispositive motions, which sounds to me like it's a really good idea not to do it at the same time as a pre-trial now. So back to my initial question, is everybody available then the week of November the 12th? Or is there any time you're not available that week?
Just the November 15th and 16th, I would prefer not to have it on those dates. I have things currently scheduled. So if we could do it the 12th, 13th, or 14th, I could make any of those days work.
Mr. Muathe, how about your schedule?
Is that on the? Are we talking about in November?
Yes.
On the 12th?
Or 13th or 14th?
I believe one of those days works for me. That's fine.
Okay.
Your Honor, just so you know, the 12th is Veterans Day. I'm not sure if is that a problem if the court is open.
Oh, they'll be close to the 12th, won't they?
So
yeah,
the 13th or 14th work.
Yeah, we'll shoot for the 13th or 14th. Okay. I'll get back with you because what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify the order Ms. Moore sent and shoot it down to Pittsburgh for filing, hopefully, or at least get you all a copy and then to see if I can get that. I guess I have an error filing in directly at Pittsburgh. I better say that and the AA that helps me is out today. Sometimes the courts are better than others. Although we're all supposed to be uniform, I can tell you that there's some deviation between attorneys running into the same thing. Exactly what you can get away with filing at a court in terms of format of the documents is different based on not just the judicial district, it's different based on county. And I've never filed anything down there directly myself. I just go through the AA. But what I'm going to do is this. We're going to change. So I tell you what, Ms. Moore, I'm just going to have you do it and tee it back up, and then I'll get a hold of them and have them pull that order, or you can put a language in this that just says the order previously filed on today's date was filed in error. This is like a nunc-pro-tunc order, okay? Mm-hmm. And then put those dates of Mr. Muathe's responses of October 5th, October 24th, your reply date, and then leave the date blank for hearing on motion for summary judgment, and I will get back to you all by email just as soon as I know for sure when we can have that hearing. And then we can just plug it in, okay?
Okay, I will do that.
Great. All right,
okay.
Thank you all very much.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye.